Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining to today's webinar and welcome. As usual, let's wait a few more minutes for more people to join, and then we can get started with today's topic. We'll just wait a minute or so, let's say, just so that we can give everyone a chance to join, and then I can start today's webinar. Okay, I think we can start now. And if other people join, they can throughout the webinar. So, hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Welcome to our fifth product webinar on understanding Artwork's financials in the Artlogic management system. So I'm just going to, share my screen quickly. So as I said, welcome. If you have attended our previous webinars, you may know me. My name is Suvin, and I'm the customer engagement specialist here at Artlogic. And also, if you have attended before, you'll be familiar with my colleague Stefania, our customer engagement team lead, who will be answering your questions in the Q&A and dropping helpful links in the chat throughout the entire session.
Hi, everyone.
So before we dive into today's topic, I'll just quickly go over some housekeeping rules. So the webinar will run for approximately 45 minutes. You can ask questions at any time using the Q&A box below, and Stefania will answer where possible. But if we don't get to your questions before the end of the webinar, don't worry, we'll make sure to contact you right after, and we'll send you a detailed answer. Also, don't worry if you're unable to stay till the end. We'll share the recording and the helpful links after as well. So today, these are the areas we'll be looking into. So firstly, we'll start by looking into understanding the Artworks finance section. So we'll look to entering financial detail, understanding those financial fields in the artwork records. So we'll be looking into cost, price, tax, and other sales details. Then we can look into creating and understanding invoices in the Artlogic management system. Then we can look into financial reporting tools. And finally, as always, I will be sharing some best practices. So now we can dive into the actual webinar. So please excuse me. Again, I will always be looking to my left as I'm sharing a screen. So please do excuse me. I'm not being rude. I am just looking at my other screen. So let me just share my screen here. Okay, I think you'll be able to see my screen now, so we can get started. So what does Artworks financials in the Artlogic management system tell us? Well, firstly, it provides us with the detailed financial snapshot of each artwork. So it really helps, artists and galleries and administrators make those informed decisions. But it also tells us about true profitability, and we'll be looking at, covering areas such as sales, tax, consignment costs, and it also provides that invoice accuracy. So to go into your artwork finance section, you want to go into your main artworks. Now, for today's webinar, we'll select one artwork here and we'll open up the artwork record by clicking the pencil edit icon. Now, here at the top, we have the financial tab here, and this is where you'll find all the key information. So firstly, we have status and availability. So the status and availability determine how artworks are displayed and managed across various platforms, such as the Artlogic management system, the Artlogic app, and also the CMS, if that is a product that you're using with us. Therefore, it's really important that you keep these up to date so that you're helping your sales teams quickly identify what's available to offer to clients. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference between status and availability? The status refers to the artwork's legal entity, whereas the availability refers to the progress of the sale of the work. Depending on the status of the artwork, you'll be able to view different financial fields. Now, for this artwork in particular, you can see that it's stock available. This means that it's fully owned by the organization. So as we scroll down, we can then enter the purchase price of this particular artwork, which you can see is £1,000. Now, let's say if this work was on consignment, this is where you'll be adding those consignment details here. Now, scrolling back to the top on the right-hand side, you can see a pie chart which says projected profit. The system calculates projected profit for you. Again, this ensures sales teams can provide that accurate forecasting. For this particular chart to appear, you need to meet some specific requirements. So those are, you need to have the retail price, the purchase price if the artwork is set as stock, a consignor share set if the work is on consignment, and then a consignor share set if the artwork is consigned out. The pie chart tells you a few things here. You can see that it tells you the acquisition cost. How much did it cost for you to acquire the artwork? Then you have the associated costs, which are production costs and other costs. And then you have the net profit. So based on the retail price here, you can see is 1,800. You have the acquisition cost of 1,000. Then you have the associated cost of 100. That gives you that net profit of 700 here. Here we also have something called financial presets. So financial preset allows you to preload financial information that you have previously saved. So it really just saves you time. So for example, if you have artworks with similar financial information, financial presets, are your friend. And it just, again, helps you save that time so that you're not just building this out every time. Now, to create a financial preset, I'll just share another tab here. You want to navigate to artworks, then value lists, then financial presets, and then click active. At the bottom here, click new record, check preset is live, add in a name, and then add in all the relevant fields, and then click save. Now, I have created one previously named standard. So in the financial preset section, when we click the drop-down menu, I can select standard, and then to apply that preset, click apply this preset, and that I will apply that financial preset for you. I will just click save for this webinar. Below that, we have the retail price and tax section. So the retail price is the price you're offering the artworks to clients before any kind of discounts, commissions, or tax applied. And that is when you can determine the tax status depending on your requirements. So that could be margin scheme, standard rate, or temporary admission. That's completely down to you. You can also create new tax statuses. Now, to do so, you want to navigate to accounts here, then value lists, and then tax statuses. In the new value field, enter your new tax status, and then all you need to do again is click save, and that will save that tax status for you, and then you'll be able to choose that tax status in the drop-down menu here. When I check the override display price box here, this is where you can display custom display prices, whether that's exclusive or inclusive of tax. So if you have alternative pricing, let's say for an art fair, or you have different pricing in a private view, this is a great way to display those custom prices. And I definitely think this is something that can be utilized as well. As we scroll down further, we have production costs here. So production costs can be entered here in, let's say, a simplified way, especially when you know who is paying for specific amounts here. So here we can see that £100 is paid by Our House Studio, and then you've got the total production cost. If we toggle the advanced production costs here, this now gives you the ability to add multiple line items as needed. And then each cost entry allows you to add in a specific date, the associated party, a description. So here you can see it's for restoration. You can also add in any related contacts, then any original currency amount, which is the production cost in which the currency of the production cost in which is paid. And then you have the artwork currency refers to the currency in which the artwork is sold. And then you have the reference and the notes as well. And then, of course, as we scroll down, the total production costs are automatically calculated based on all the line items listed. As I said previously at the beginning of the webinar, when the artwork is fully owned by the organizations, you want to put the purchase price in the purchase stock section, and then any consignment details will go in here. So this is where you can calculate the correct payments to consigners, handle commissions, and also just enter that financial clarity as well. Now, once you're happy with all the financial information that you've entered here, please remember to click Save. So once you've added all your financial details, this is where you may start attracting offers, which can then lead to the artworks or artwork being sold. So after artworks have been sold, this is where you can start creating invoices in the system. The great thing about the Artlogic management system is that it allows you to have all your invoices in one centralized place, which means you can keep records of all your sales. So this will now move me on to creating invoices and actually understanding invoices in the Artlogic management system. To create an invoice, there are three main ways to do so. So for example, let's say I wanted to just sell this particular artwork. On the right-hand side in the preview panel, you have a button that says sell. As soon as I click this, it prompts me to create an invoice. Once I click OK, this will then open up a new window where I can start building out that invoice from scratch. If, let's say, you wanted to sell multiple artworks, this is where you'll start utilizing the flagging functionality. Click the blue flag at the top here, and I'll just click unflag all just in case there are previously flagged artworks. Then I'll flag these two artworks and then click the blue flag again at the top and then click Find Flagged. This is where you can navigate to the bottom, click the Sell Offer Share button, then click Sell These Artworks, then click OK. And again, I'm taken to the same window where I can start creating that invoice. Lastly, there is another way to create an invoice by navigating to Accounts at the top, clicking Invoices, and then that will take you to your invoice list screen. At the bottom here, you have the new invoice button. Click this, and then again, you can start building your invoice from scratch. So there are three different ways that you can go around creating invoices. Now, for this webinar, I'll stick to this window. I will just click the arrow at the bottom here just to enlarge this for you so it's easier for you to see. Perfect. So now we can start creating our invoice. Firstly, we can add in a client. So here I will add in a client's name. We have the invoice date and then the invoice number. Now, depending on your workflows, you can either assign the next highest automatically, or you can enter your own manually. That is entirely up to you. For today's webinar, let's just assign one automatically, and then I will click OK. Now it's time to add any artworks. Click Add Artwork here, and then I will add in the artwork that we have just used at the beginning of the webinar. And what that will do is insert that artwork into the body of the invoice for you. Now, once you've added your artworks, this is where you can start making edits. You can add various information to the invoice. And to do that, you want to navigate to Settings at the bottom, and then the Settings panel will appear. So I want to draw your attention to a few areas here so that you know how to navigate the Settings section. We have the Currency, Discount, and Tax section. So within currency, you have the ability to change the currency of the invoice. And so by changing the currency, the system will then automatically ask for an exchange rate. So here, let's say the invoice is in pounds, but we want the additional currency to be in dollars. Now you can see it's asking for an exchange rate. I will now enter this in. And now you can see that we have two currencies side by side to each other in the body of the invoice. We also have a discount section, so you can apply any discounts here. You can apply it to the entire invoice, or you can choose to do it per item. Once I click per item, a box will then appear in the body of the invoice. By checking this, this is where you can apply that custom discount. You have you can apply a discount two ways, either by percentages or a monetary value. I will enter one as a monetary value today and then click Save. And as you can see, it's applied that discount for you. Now we can move on to the tax section. This is where you can apply the appropriate sale tax. as well. So here, if we click the drop down, we have those tax statuses for you. And then you can also add an import tax, whether that be to the entire invoice or per item. You can check the box for artist resale right also. And then we've got display settings. Display settings is a great way for you to then include and exclude the information that you wish in the invoice. So for example, let's say you didn't want to show artwork images, you can then hide it by unchecking this box. You can also add in any additional artwork fields, and also you can choose to add in or exclude financial fields as well. So this is completely up to you to personalize the information and really tailor this invoice to suit you and your organization. There is also a section named company departments sold by. So if you have multiple departments, you can add which company the invoice belongs to. So for example, here, I'll select a certain company, then you can select a certain department. So we can choose contemporary art, and then you can choose who it was sold by. I want to draw your attention to the sold by section here. Now, if you were to leave this blank, the system will automatically populate with the name of the person who generated the invoice. So those may be two different people. So please do make sure that you're entering the correct name here for accuracy. To create a company and department, all you need to do is navigate to accounts at the top, then value list, and then you have departments and companies. So we'll just click departments for today. Here in the new value field, add in a new department and just click save, and that department will then appear the next time you start building out your invoice. We also provide a warning section in the system. So this is where the system highlights any areas that may need your attention. So when we go into the body of the invoice and I click the drop-down arrow, it will tell me exactly what the warning is for. So we can see that the tax statuses do not match. So we need to fix it. So click settings again, and then we'll go to the tax section, and then we'll make sure that the tax rates match, and then we'll click standard rate, and now you can see the warning box disappears. And then lastly, we can look at saved invoice settings. So this is where you can preload invoices that have previously been saved. So if I click this drop down menu here, we have previously saved invoices. Again, this saves you so much time. It allows you to pre-populate that data for you immediately. And all you would need to do is select that invoice and then click load settings, and that data will get populated. Now, let's say you are building this invoice from scratch, but you actually want to save all of those settings. You can do so. Just add a new name to the invoice and then click Save Settings. And then the next time you build out a new invoice, you'll be able to find that in the drop-down menu here. After you have added all your settings and changed all those details, please remember to click Save. And I always recommend just clicking Save as you go along, just to save any changes. There are other areas that I just want to quickly draw your attention to, which is adding a sundry item. So at the bottom here, click Add Sundry Item and then click New Item. And here you can add a description. So sundry items can be anything from framing to shipping. Here we can add framing. And then I can enter my desired cost. So let's just put £50 here and then click Save. And then that sundry item will be added in for you. And then we've got invoice terms. So when I click Add Invoice Terms, you'll be able to add your terms here. Your invoice terms are linked to your template library. So once I click Load from Library here, automatically those invoice terms will be populated. Again, another way for the system to save you so much time. So I really do recommend going into your template library and populating those invoice terms. However, let's say if you've just written out your invoice terms from scratch right now and you want to save it, then just click Save to Library. And then the next time you can just preload that information again. Again, let's just click Save just in case, and that will be saved for you. Now, lastly, on this invoice, we have an amazing thing called Artlogic Pay. So Artlogic Pay gives clients the option to easily pay for an invoice online via a secure payment link. So this uses a secure integration with Stripe, for which the clients can use a credit or debit card for. So by toggling Artlogic Pay on, and then clicking the settings button here, it gives your clients the opportunity to either pay the full balance or perhaps they might just want to pay a deposit towards the full balance. That's completely depending on the agreement that you have with them. Now, once you've toggled that on, click Save again. And this is when you're ready to generate an invoice once you're happy with all those details. Now, before I generate this invoice, I really want to highlight this as a very important step. So when you are building your invoice and you just save it, this only saves the invoice and keeps it as a draft. However, if you want to mark this as a sale, you would need to generate the invoice. And this is a very important step because if you do not do this, the artwork will not be marked as X inventory sold. The invoice will then not be generated, and then in turn, the account record will not be created. So you're not leaving any digital footprint of your artworks being sold in the system. And so when you do go later on to match up your artworks to any sales, you may not be able to find that digital footprint. So it's really important you generate your invoices within the system. To generate an invoice, all you need to do is click Action at the bottom here, and then click Generate Sales Invoice. Click OK. And that has generated the invoice, but also generated a link to Artlogic Pay for you. So just to show you how easy Artlogic Pay is, once I click this link, it is like shopping online. All they need to do is click Pay Invoice and then continue to checkout. And it is just such an easy way to pay for an invoice, and also a very easy way. Now we can move swiftly on to financial reporting tools. So financial reporting tools are essential for providing clear, accurate, and timely insights into the financial health of your business. So if your organization is big enough to have an accounts team, or perhaps you have someone in charge of finances, account records are a great way to gain those financial insights. To access account records, navigate to Accounts here at the top, then click Account Records. Account records show you the individual items sold within invoices. So these records allow users to track sales, you can apply payments, and manage all the financial aspects of the transactions happening in your organization. Now, as you can see at the top, we have the invoice that we've already generated alongside the sundry item that we have within that invoice. If we click the pencil edit icon here, we'll be able to go into this account record in more detail and view various information. As you can see, we can see information relating to the artwork, the artist name, stock number, tax code. We also have sales details such as the final sales price, who it was sold by, sold to. We also have the payments received section. Now, because we've just generated the invoice, we haven't received any payments. However, if you wanted to apply payment or perhaps part payment, click View Apply Payments. And this is where you can apply any payments, whether that is in full balance or part payment here. And then you can click Apply Payment. Alongside other details, you have other costs. So the production costs and other costs, perhaps, that you want detailed here in the account records. And then you can also add in shipping and any notes relating to that. You can also add in commissions here and finder's fee and outside commissions. So if, let's say, I'm searching for a specific salesperson, I can do so like this and then check the 10% commission box. And then I click Save, and I've entered that commission within that artwork record. Artwork records are just a great way to verify information and keep on top of the accurate information when it comes to all, financial aspects within your organization. So when the relevant person has verified that information and they have approved it, they can check this box at the top, which says this record has been checked and is known to be correct. Once they mark this and click Save, and we go back to the accounts list screen, you can now see that it has been marked as checked. Now, if the artwork has been shipped, that person can then go into the shipping and notes section here, check the ship to client box, click Save again. And then when we return to the accounts list screen, we can see that it has been marked as shipped. So this just basically helps the relevant person keep on top of the information and just make sure financial accuracy in the organization as well. But of course, it also means that you're keeping that relevant person accountable too. Now, like every webinar, I love to end with some best practices just so that you can take those away with you. And because because we're looking at the financial aspects, I do want to demonstrate the best practices as we go along so that you can recap the information that I have gone through today in this webinar. So firstly, you need to ensure that you're logging the status and availability and tax rates accurately, and you're regularly auditing those fields to ensure accuracy across departments. Now, as I've shown you in the webinar, you would open up the artwork record, and in the financial tab, you can do this in the status and availability section, and then the retail price and tax section here. A second best practice is ensuring all sales are properly invoiced and marked as paid or unpaid. Now, you can do this in the invoice list screen. To access the invoice list screen, navigate to accounts at the top here, go to invoices, and this will open up the invoice list screen here. Now, as you can see, we have invoices that have been marked as unpaid, some are in draft, some have been fully paid, and some have been part paid. Now, again, this is a great way to keep on top of your invoices, but this is also a great way to make sure that you are applying the correct payments where needed as well. So if, let's say, to a part paid invoice, you wanted to apply a payment, click options, and then click apply payment, and then you can add in the monetary value here, and then click apply payment here. And then what that will do is then change that payment status for you. So please make sure you're keeping on top of this, because the last thing you want is an invoice to be paid, but it has been marked as unpaid. Now, you also want to utilize the invoice workflows in the system. So just demonstrating the invoice workflows that I have just showed in the webinar today, I really, really recommend that you're following this workflow so that you can keep track of all the records in your system, so that you can link those records to your offers, then to your sales, and then to your invoices. So you're tracking everything in the Artlogic management system. Everything is in one centralized place, and you've got that digital footprint so that when you are looking to your account records, for example, you have everything there and everything is accurate as well. I also suggest that you're double checking commission settings, which again is very, very important. Now, as I showed you previously, I'm just going to go back to account records here, and we can open up this account record just to jog your memory quickly. As we scroll down, you can add in commissions this way, but there's also another way to add commissions, which is through the invoice list screen. By going to accounts and then invoices again, we can choose one invoice here once we open this up and just scroll here. By clicking options next to the artwork, you have commissions here. Once you click commissions, you can then add in the commissions or finder's fee and outside commissions this way as well. And once you've done, just click done. And then please do remember to click save as well. As we return to the invoice list screen, there are some invoices that may not progress, and your go-to instinct might be to want to delete an invoice, but we really do not recommend deleting an invoice. Instead, you want to raise a credit note. Now, to raise a credit note, all you would need to do is click into an invoice here. Now, at the bottom, click action again, and then you have the option to raise a credit note. This will then prompt me. Oh, sorry. I will just choose a different invoice here. Hopefully this works. Click action, and then we'll do generate credit note. And then what you want to do is click generate credit note here. And what that will do is generate that credit note for you. Apologies for that. Technology is not on my side today. So that is how you would generate that credit note. in this way through the invoice list screen. So please do not delete invoices, as you do want all your records to still remain intact within the system. Now, once you open up an invoice and you do make any changes to, let's say, the artwork detail. So for example, let's say I change the price, we'll take it to 800 and then click save. And then when you click save here, you would think here, oh, that's saved and that's fine. No, as I said previously, you need to regenerate the invoice for those changes to then be reflected within the system. To do that, click action and then regenerate sales invoice. Click OK, and that will regenerate that sales invoice for you. So any artwork details that you have changed will be saved and also will be reflected. And then just last of the best practices here, I just showed you at the end of my demonstration of account records. Once we go into account records, I really recommend the relevant person that is in charge of your finances to really utilize the checked and shipped verification method so that you are keeping on top of your account records and that you know which financial information has been thoroughly checked and read through, and also you know which artworks have been sold. So again, it's just about accuracy and keeping on top of everything within the system itself. So that really concludes today's webinar on the financial section. I know that there was a lot of information there. So as I said at the beginning of the webinar, I will be sending you the presentation alongside some helpful links. And I also have listed the best practices. So please do have a read through and please make sure that you are kind of going through the different areas. Again, I know it's a lot of information today, but as like all the other webinars, I will end on a few final notes for you. So as I've said, if you need further assistance, please visit the Artlogic Help Center. We have so many resources on there for you to have a look at. So please do have a look for that. We also have great videos. So if you do need more information on, let's say, the financial section, we've got great videos there and great help articles for you to have a read through. We also encourage you to really explore the areas that I demonstrated today. But of course, if you're ever in need of more training, please contact the support team for more personalized sessions or visit the help note that Stefania has linked in the chat, where you can explore more training options we have available. And of course, if you have enjoyed this webinar, please make sure to sign up to our future ones too. We have great ones coming up, and you can check the full schedule at this link that will be dropping in the chat. Alternatively, if you want to look at our previous webinars, you can also do so as well, so that you can have other information on hand, and you can have a look at those videos as well. But thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope the session was helpful. We have ended a little bit early, so that's great. And hopefully we can see you in the next one. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.